Welcome into another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. We'll take a look at the Friday card of this fall meet, the next to last racing day for the fall. Feature race is a mile on the turf. It's the 9th race on the card. We'll also check out the late pick 4, which, by the way, I had here on the podcast for Wednesday. I think for 50 cents. It would have paid $250, so not a bad one. Jim, who do you like in the 9th?
I like a horse named Arapica for Eddie Cadaley and Julian Leperoux. Leperoux is in the mix of the Jockey Championship race with 10 wins before yesterday, and Arapica ran in an allowance race at Kentucky Downs, one of those $100,000 allowance races, and got up at the wire in a fairly impressive split horses and at an 88 buyer. Pretty good buyer figure at Kentucky Downs, nipped Sailor's Creek, who is a nice little horse, and I thought Arapica here was probably the best bet here. There's a couple other horses I can make a case for. Trace Creek, the 4 for Kenny McPeak, the only horse in the race with 4 wins. It's another one of those that have never won 3 races or have gotten in with conditions. So Trace Creek has won 4 races and comes off a good effort at Indiana Downs and a win at Churchill Downs in June. And the other horses that I like Brown Almighty at a shot. Big Brown seems to do fairly well on the turf, and this horse is coming out of a Churchill race in September where he was moved up to second through disqualification, but ran a nice race and won his last race to Arlington. So I think this horse at 15-1 Morning Line stands a shot. I would also use, if any of the also eligibles get in, the Coin Broker, the 14 for Dale Romans, and Taken by the Storm, 16 for Kenny McPeak is a little bit intriguing. Came out of the Illinois Derby after a long layoff, like a year and a half, and ran really well. Kentucky Downs just got beat by a head. So Taken by the Storm has a shot if they get in. So there's 16 horses subscribed to a 12-horse field. I would take Arapica on top, use the 4 and 11 with the 14-16 if they get in.
I was between Arapica and Zavarian. I'm going to take the latter, who had some trouble last time, and this is the second start off a layoff. So I think this horse could improve at a decent price, and that's kind of what hooked it for me was what I think the price will be. So the 5 Zavarian is the one that I like, but I think Arapica is the one to beat, and I would want to definitely use both of those in any of the horizontal wagers. Trace Creek, the 4, Casino Dan, the 1, Taken by the Storm, 16 are others that I would use in exactas with Zavarian, but Zavarian's going to be my key pick in there, number 5. Take a look at the late pick 4. Starts in race 7, and I like a horse that actually won on this turf course last fall for Shadwell Stable, for Warwick, if that's how it's pronounced, the 10 horse. But I don't think that it's a lock or by any means. Kettle Twist, Photo Call, Naples Gold. I liked all of those, so I'll use all 4. I'm going to single Avicii in the 8th race. Not because I'm totally convinced he's a cinch, but I wanted to spread out in these other races, and you couldn't spread out in them all. So he was just a very impressive winner earlier at the meet, so I'm going to try and get through that race with a single on the 2. Use Zavarian, Trace Creek, Arapica, and Taken by the Storm in the 9th. If Taken by the Storm scratches, then I'd throw in Casino Dan. And then the 10, Jazz Apple's the pick, just on a hunch that they've got it's Phil Simms. I don't think I've seen him use Paco Lopez before. Lopez is a speed rider, and this horse had a 35 and change work on August 30th, so there's some speed there. So just on a hunch, I'm going to bet Jazz Apple, probably a small win bet there, but then I also want to use the 11 Artemis Storm, the 5 Wove, and the 1 Angel Lovely. How about you?
I'm going to single the horse that I liked in the feature. So I'm going to go 5 deep in the first leg with Photo Call, the 2, India Song, the 3, Costinia, the 6, Naples Gold, the 7, and the 11 horse, Gracie's Butterfly, the shot for the aforementioned Phil Simms. I think she's got a shot in this first race of the pick 4, and it might be a price. Second leg, I would buy it. There's only 5 horses in the 8th race, and I really can't separate them very well. So I'm going to buy it where you singled it. So there's 2 strategies in a 5-horse field. I would single Arapica in the feature race, and then I would go 5 deep in the last leg. The total cost for the ticket would be $62.50. I would use Angel Lovely, the 1, Jazz Apple that you mentioned for Phil Simms, the 2, Wove, I guess that's Val spelled backwards, W-O-V, the 5, Hotel Motel the 10 for Stuart Elliott and Kellen Gorder on the outside that has a shot at 12-1, and Artemis Storm the 11 for Michael Maker. One of the reasons I'm going to a couple first-time starters here is that the ones that are not that impressive. Anytime you have a maiden 30,000, look at the first-time starters because they haven't proven they can't run yet. So I would go 5 by 5 by single by 5 in the Lake Pick Fork.
Best of luck to everybody on their wagers, whether they be at the track or at KeenelandSelect.com. And we'll be back for our Saturday podcast, which will include a couple of stakes races in New York and California, as well as the closing day feature, the Haggard Equine Fayette Stakes here at Keeneland. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the In the Money podcast.